What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we're going to talk about the assassination of politicians over the weekend in Minnesota. News that really rocked me when I heard it because you don't expect this. I guess if you grew up in the 60s and you grew up with political figures getting assassinated, this would be just another normal day. But we're at a point now in our political discourse where you got crazy people that are taking in bad information, forming terrible ideas, running around, taking matters into their own hands to do dastardly things. Let's dive in. What we know about the attack on two Minnesota lawmakers by Kayla Epstein. This is from the BBC. On Saturday, two state lawmakers from Minnesota were gunned down in their homes in what Governor Tim Walz called a politically motivated assassination. The attacks left one politician dead and the other seriously injured. The suspect, Vance Luther Bolter, was taken into custody in rural Woodland after a day-long manhunt. He has been charged with multiple counts of murder at the state and federal level. They didn't charge him with terrorism, though. They didn't charge him with terrorism. They charged him with, if I'm not mistaken, second-degree murder, which is wild. It was wild when I read that because, at a minimum, you got to talk about first-degree murder. This was well planned out. This was well planned out. During a press conference on Monday, officials said that Mr. Bolter allegedly also attempted to kill two other state lawmakers on Saturday. He had a kill list. Who were the victims? State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were shot and killed in their home, the governor said. She had served in the Minnesota House of Representatives for 20 years and was Speaker of the Chamber from 2019 to 2025. Under her tenure, Minnesota Democrats passed a variety of liberal legislation that included the expansion of abortion rights and legalization of recreational marijuana. She was also known for working across the aisle. In one of her final votes before the attack, she sided with Republicans to support a bill provision that would make the state's undocumented population ineligible for the state's low-income health care program. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, were also shot multiple times and injured, but they survived. During the shooting, Yvette Hoffman threw herself on their adult daughter, Hope Hoffman, to shield her from the bullets, a relative said. After surviving the hail of bullets that wounded her parents, Hope Hoffman then called local authorities, who rushed to the scene and saved her parents' lives. Both lawmakers who were shot are Democrats. This is political violence. Ms. Hoffman shared a statement on social media after the incident saying she and her husband were incredibly lucky to be alive, and they were hit by a combined total of 17 bullets. 17 bullets. John is enduring many surgeries right now and is closer every hour to being out of the woods, Ms. Hoffman wrote. She also expressed sympathy for the loss of her colleagues in the State House. We are gutted and devastated by the loss of Melissa and Mark. We have no words. There is never a place for this kind of political hate, she wrote. So what happened? Law enforcement has confirmed the attacks occurred in the early hours of Saturday in the cities of Brooklyn Park and Champlin, Minnesota. Drew Evans, superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, said police received a call at 2 o'clock local time about an incident at Hoffman's house in Champlin. Another call to police came in at 3:35 in the morning when officers were checking on Hortman's home nearby in Brooklyn Park. Police discovered what looked like an emergency vehicle parked at the home with emergency lights flashing. Coming out of the home was someone resembling a police officer who immediately opened fire on officers, darted back into the house, then escaped on foot. Mark Bruley, chief of Brooklyn Park Police, said the suspect was wearing a vest with a taser, other equipment, a badge, posing as law enforcement in order to manipulate their way into the home. In between Mr. Bolter's alleged attack at the Hoffman residence and the shooting at the Hortman residence, he visited the homes of two other state lawmakers allegedly targeting them, U.S. Attorney Joseph H. Thompson said on Monday. One of those lawmakers identified herself as one of the targets. I have been made aware that the shooting suspect was parked near my home early Saturday morning, Minnesota State Senator Ann Rest said in a statement on Monday. I'm so grateful for the heroic work of the New Hope Police Department and its officers. Their quick action saved my life. The attacks drew condemnation from across the political spectrum. President Donald Trump said such horrific violence will not be tolerated. Meanwhile, U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar, a Minnesota Democrat, called it an attack on everything we stand for as a democracy. Who is Vance Luther Bolter? Police identified the suspect as 57-year-old Bolter. They did not give details on a possible motive. This was political. A former political appointee, Mr. Bolter was once a member of the same state workforce development board as Hoffman. We don't know the nature of the relationship or if they actually knew each other, said Evans. Investigators reportedly found a list of 70 targets, including the names of state Democratic politicians, in a vehicle the suspect drove for the assassination. Walls, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Minnesota's 2 U.S. senators, Klobuchar and Smith, and state Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison were on the hit list, according to local media. But they don't know what the motives were? Locations for Planned Parenthood were also on the list. A person familiar with the investigation told the Minnesota Star Tribune. We really are second-guessing what this was about? Superintendent Evans told reporters he would not describe the notebook found in the car as a manifesto, as it was not a treatise on all kinds of ideology and writings. Mr. Bolter is a security contractor and religious missionary who has worked in Africa and the Middle East, according to an online CV. He once preached as a pastor at a church in the Democratic Republic of Congo, according to Facebook photos. He had traveled often to the nation, indicates posts from his LinkedIn account. An online video from 2 years ago seems to show him addressing a congregation, adding that he has a wife and 5 children. He had also worked back in Minnesota for a major food distributor, a convenience store chain, and for 2 funeral service businesses, according to his online profile. According to local TV, Mr. Bolter's only criminal history in Minnesota was for traffic tickets, including speeding and parking violations. He texted a troubling message to his friends at a Minneapolis residence where he had rented a room and would stay 1 or 2 nights a week, the Tribune reports. Mr. Bolter said, "I'm going to be gone for a while, may be dead shortly, so I just want to let you know I love you guys both and I wish I hadn't gone this way." On Sunday night, police said they found Mr. Bolter after receiving information that he was seen in the area of Green Isle, a village not far from his home. Officers called the 2-day search the largest manhunt in state history, with multiple law enforcement agencies working together to find him. Mr. Bolter was arrested in a rural area with mostly farmland, fields, and small woods, taken into custody without the use of force or injury to police. Police said he was armed when he was arrested, but did not provide further information on the type of weapons present. Superintendent Evans said Bolter's arrest brought a sense of relief to communities and lawmakers who were on the suspect's list of targets. He also said law enforcement believed the suspect acted alone, was not part of a broader network. Authorities also condemned Mr. Bolter's impersonation of a police officer while carrying out the attack, saying he exploited the trust our uniforms are meant to represent. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also followed with a plea for civility, urging people to shake hands and find common ground. "One man's unthinkable actions have altered the state of Minnesota," he said. "This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way we deal with our political differences." Prior to Mr. Bolter's arrest, his wife was detained in a traffic stop along with 3 relatives in a car in the city of Onamia, but was released after questioning. Mr. Bolter has been charged at both the state and federal levels. Officials said on Monday that the suspect faces 6 federal charges, some of which could lead to the death penalty. At the federal level, he faces 2 counts of stalking, 2 counts of murder, 2 firearms-related charges. Separately, at the state level, he's also charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder at the state level. Again, why the second degree? I'm not a lawyer, but it seemed premeditated to me. At a brief court appearance on Monday, Mr. Bolter said he could not afford a lawyer, would have a federal defense lawyer. That's the story. This guy was, they don't say it in the article, but he was a registered right-winger. He was a registered Republican. He was a staunch Trump supporter. He was part of the movement, and he decided, like a psychopath, he decided to go do psychopath things. It's not a game out here, man. What are we doing? This is the world that we're living in right now, and it's up to us to change it. Y'all remember, the fight's not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. And remember, there could be no union without you and I front and center. This ain't it. Peace.